Hi, Year 7 Humanities students. It's Mr. Russell here, and today we're going to be talking about fieldwork skills. Now, it's a real shame that we won't be able to go on any actual fieldworks this term, but we've got a really cool assignment coming up that is a virtual fieldwork to a landscape of your choice. So an aspect of that assessment task is going to be to draw a field sketch, which is one of the fieldwork skills we're going to look at, and also to take field notes, which is another fieldwork skill we're going to focus on today. So our learning intention in that case is to learn how to draw a field sketch and take field notes. Now, field sketches, what are they? So in geography, which is the aspect of humanities that we're focusing on right now, we use field sketches to record information when studying places outside the classroom. They allow you to highlight and annotate the key features of the place that you're visiting or that you're conducting fieldwork in. And they're useful because they assist us with remembering the details of a landscape in that moment that you're witnessing it. So often when you are going on field work, you might conduct field sketches alongside taking photographs. One advantage of field sketches over just taking a photograph of a place is that you can actually annotate it there and then. So you can talk about what you're seeing and write about what you're seeing right there on the sketch itself. So that's what field sketches are. When you make a field sketch, you don't have to be an artist by any means, and you definitely don't have to produce a masterpiece or work of art. I mean, if you have a look at this field sketch over here, it's very basic in terms of just showing the main features, but then it's got some more detailed labels and annotations down here. You do have, so there are things you don't have to do. You do have to produce a simple outline drawing or summary diagram. You also have to allow enough time to make your sketch. You have to keep your work neat and tidy, so that means drawing a border around your sketch and separating it into a grid, which I'll talk about very soon. You'll see this one is separated into a 2x2 grid. And finally, you should also add labels and annotations to talk about what is actually shown in your field sketch. So I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide to drawing a field sketch. So the first step is choose the view that you wish to record. Now, if you are out on field work and you identified something that you wanted to sketch, that you thought was important to sketch and annotate, you would have to find the most appropriate angle to sketch that particular landform or landscape so that you could identify all of the important details of what you were witnessing. We are soon going to do a virtual field work in which you'll go on a virtual hike of a particular landscape, and you will have to choose a moment in that hike where you get the best view to record what it is that you're wanting to sketch. So first off, choose the view you wish to record. Next, you're going to draw lines to divide your page into a 2x2 grid. So basically, you've got 4 quarters of your page. The reason that we do that is so that it's really clear for us to figure out what goes in each of the components of the grid. The top two sections are where your skyline goes, and the bottom 2 sections is where your foreground goes. And it can really help you to understand the scale of what you're drawing, so that you're not drawing a really abstract picture, but you are drawing it as accurately as you can about the landform or landmark or landscape that you're drawing. So that's why we draw lines to divide the page into a 2x2 grid. Third, we draw in the skyline and the foreground from your field of view. So you'll see here, there is the photograph of of what we're sketching here. And on the right hand side here, we have drawn in the skyline and the foreground from where this person is standing. So that's the first thing, no detail. You're just drawing in that skyline and foreground to get the scale right of your sketch. Fourth, you're going to draw an outline of the main features of the landscape and also add some detail to your sketch to record more information. So here you can see that we've drawn the outlines of the main features of the landscape, and we've even added some minor details like the windows of the house, the chimney, some of the smaller rocks that perhaps wouldn't have come out if we just drew the outlines of the main features. So we start off with the outlines of the main features, and then we add some detail based on what we think is important in the view that we are witnessing. And finally, we add labels and annotations to give more information about the landscape and the conditions. So this one isn't a great example, but you can see that there are labels. A really good example would include annotations. So perhaps about weathering that is happening down here, where you can see that the coloring is a bit different because of the waves, or maybe about the moss that's growing on the house over here. So you might want to add annotations about the conditions that day and about specific things that you're noticing in the landscape. So with all of that in mind, I'd like you to use this video to complete your first task. So you're going to take a piece of paper, a sharp pencil, a rubber, and maybe a clipboard or something similar that you can lean on. And I want you to go to your window. If you want to go outside to do this, you can also do that. But basically, I want you to take a field sketch of a particular view. Now, it could be the view out your window or out your living room window. It could be you go down to the park around the corner and find a really good view of the landscape. Wherever it is that you choose to do your sketch, you're going to complete a sketch following the steps that were in this PowerPoint. Once you complete that, take a picture of your sketch and add it to the task on Google Classroom. So I want you to pause the video while you go and do your first task. So you should have completed your field sketch. If you haven't yet added it to Google Classroom, then again, just pause the video so that you can add it to your Google Classroom. But now we're just going to talk about the final part of this explanatory lesson. So field notes. Now, a field sketch is one thing. You can take a sketch of a particular view while you're out on field work, and you can annotate that particular view, that particular sketch. But you're not going to be walking around on your field work taking sketches of every single thing that you see. So that's why field notes are important. They are notes made by a person who is engaged in field work. Now, the focus of the virtual field work that you're about to conduct is human impacts on the landscape. So I want you in a moment to go back to where you drew your field sketch and write down some notes. First of all, I want you to write what you see. So all the things that you see from your particular view, just dot points, what is it that you see? And secondly, because we're focusing on human impacts on landscapes, I want you to identify evidence of human activity. Now, if we have a quick look at the assessment task that you're about to complete, the Landscapes Virtual Fieldwork Assessment, I won't go over the entire task sheet because that'll be in a separate video. But down here, let's just have a look at the aspects that we've focused on in this particular video. So First of all, the field sketch template. So your field sketch has a border and title. That's very important. The top level is to include a grid to assist with the scale of the field sketch. If I just go back to the PowerPoint, that's the second step of drawing a field sketch, is to draw lines to divide your page into a 2x2 grid. Now, in terms of the actual field sketch data, like your actual field sketch, you drawing outlines of the main features. That is like drawing in the skyline and perhaps some of the outlines of the main features. That's the bottom level there. Adding details of specific landscape features. That's going into detail to your sketch to record more information. Next up is labels landscape features. So that's down here. Add labels to your landscape features. Whoever did this sketch would get to that part of the rubric. They would not get this top level, which is to annotate your field sketch to provide detail on current conditions of the landscape. So that's where you need to go into a bit more depth and actually add some annotations. Now, in terms of your field notes, first of all, writing field notes. In a moment, I'm going to get you to do this. So writing what you see, that's the bottom level. And the top level is to identify evidence of human activity in your field notes. So that's this level here. So what I'd like you to do now, if you haven't already done it, is to pause the video, go back to where you did your sketch, and write down those notes on writing what you see and identifying evidence of human activity. Again, at the end of that, you're going to take a picture and upload it onto Google Classroom in the appropriate task. So thank you everyone for listening to this video explanation. If you have any questions about anything that was in this video, then please don't hesitate to contact your teacher. And until next time, thanks a lot.